MHU on three. 1, 2, 3.
MHU.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to our Lion Coaches Show for this week. Stuart Jolley along with Tim Clifton and Coach. It was a tall order to fill going over to Mossy Creek on homecoming there at Carson-Newman, and Mountain Lions kind of ran into a buzzsaw there in the first half.
Well, early in the first quarter, we did. We gave up a score, and then we turned around and gave them one back, and fell behind fast, and then we were able to get back in it. And every time we turned around, we had shots to continue to stay in the game. But when you're going in with a couple of guys out, and then we lost RJ Acevita in the first quarter, defense lineman Eldred Wilson didn't travel, so we already had those out along with Tyler out. So we knew going in we would have to play extremely hard and play extremely well and not turn the football over.
Well, and they're one of those teams that if you have any injuries or any weakness whatsoever, they really seem to magnify that and make it a point of contention.
Well, they did a great job of running the football, which that's what they do. And we played without Jaden too. Jaden King, the safety, he was out. And so, we had some guys that were banged up and out of the game, but I thought we did some good things during the game to get ourselves back in it. And going into the fourth quarter, I still thought we had a shot.
And looking at the numbers, fourth quarter was really good for the Mountain Lions. Really kind of got into a good rhythm there. We'll do kind of a quick recap on the positives and negatives going on there. Positives for the offense for the Mountain Lions, Craig Rucker. It was kind of the Craig Rucker show in the afternoon, it looked like. He accounted for all 4 line scores with 4 touchdowns, 2 by rushing and 2 by reception. That young man, we talked with him week 4, that just phenomenal talent and able to keep us in the game.
Yeah, if you get him in space, he's really really dangerous. And I thought Austin did a good job of finding him, but he did a good job of spreading the ball around too. And then Craig was able to get a couple of plays in space, and then when he does, it's got a chance to go to the end zones every time he gets in space.
He caught 8 passes for 209 yards, and here's a biggie. First time since 1992 the Eagles have allowed over 200 yards reception by an opposing player. So that's significant. It really is. Yeah,
I think they're really good up front, and we tried to take advantage of some of the things on the third level, and I thought our other receivers played well too, and I thought Austin played well. Austin went into the game and he had a virus, wasn't feeling very well, and but yet he still played hard, and you could tell when he ran the ball several times that he wasn't feeling as good as he's felt all year. And we've had some people, go through a couple of those viruses, but he just was a little bit down, going into the game. But I thought he did well. I thought Craig did some things to give us a chance, and I thought we protected Austin pretty good.
Austin threw for 220 yards, 1 touchdown, completed 16 of 35 on passes. He's currently 3rd in the league in passing yards per game, 223, and 3rd in the league with passing touchdowns with 13. Meanwhile, we'll go back and talk about Rucker. He leads the conference in reception yards per game at 140.7 and receiving with 2 touchdowns. So, it's amazing how balanced those guys can be once they kind of get things clicking. And it's one of those things, watching portion of the game, looking at the stats, it was one of those things, it took us a while to settle into some different personnel being in some locations that we're not used to them being there because sickness and injury.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing for us going in was we wanted to try to squeeze the clock, and when we got behind early, it's hard to squeeze that clock. The thing you want to do is get them into the fourth quarter because they're they're so used to being ahead. If you get them in the fourth quarter and can squeeze a little bit, you have a great opportunity of beating them. But you have to really get down to the fourth quarter and be, within striking distance.
Other two big keys offensively, Tyler Ferguson caught 7 passes for 60 yards. Chris Roberts rushed 17 times for 81 yards. On the defensive side of things, Trey Smith led the line's defense with 9 tackles. Malcolm Means and Keon Cesar with 8 tackles each. Let's see, Carl Robert Joe, 7 tackles and 1 interception. Let's talk about that.
Well, I thought he did a great job of recovering. They had sprinted out and crossed the field on us, and I thought he'd, ball hung a little bit, and he did a great job of closing and picking it off. And when he picked it off, we went down and scored. I think one of the big things was we held them on 4th down the goal line on about the 5, and then we drove 95 yards to score. I think we were just able to make a stand, and when we made that stand, I thought the offense did a great job of going down the field and scoring from 95 yards out.
Shakari Williams, 5 tackles, 1 fumble recovery, and again, looking back with Means and Caesar, those guys are getting their names more and more. We're talking about them on a Monday night show, so they're really kind of coming into their own.
Yeah, Caesar, he's played for several years now, and he's playing with a broken hand. He's got a cast on his hand, and it's evidently not healing the way they want it to heal. So he'll finish the season playing with a cast, and then they'll do some work on him and get his hand fixed. But he's been playing, I guess, the last 4 or 5 games with a broken hand.
We're going to come back and recap things quarter by quarter right after this. Stuart Jolley and Tim Clifton. Game recap, Coach. We're going to talk about the first half. We'll take a break and then come back and look at the second half. Eagles get on the board early, 13-12. First quarter, from 1 yard out, Evans takes it in. The kick's true. Scoring drive, 60 yards in a minute and 48 seconds. Lions trail 7-0, and then they come back right after that, 9-10, 4-yard run. The kick is good, and Eagles up 14-0. At that point in time, from a coaching perspective, you're kind of in a hostile environment. Let's face it, that's not an easy place to play. You've got a significant number of guys that are either hurt or they're sick. How does that work? I mean, how does that look from what you have to do in order to say, guys, we're still in this. Quit looking at the scoreboard. Just let's play down by down.
Well, when it went 21, we threw the pick to make it 21.
23-yard return on that interception. It was 21-0. That was 8-12 in the first quarter, and then nobody else scored. I mean, the defense really held them there.
Yeah, we had a chance. We drove all the way down and didn't get it in. We got down really inside the 1 and had a penalty, and we didn't get it in. I think if we get it in, then it's 14 points, and we've been down 14 before and come back all year. So really wasn't concerned at the moment. I was concerned that we didn't get in right there, but we shot ourselves in the foot. with a penalty, and then, but if we get in there, I think, we drove probably 50 yards to get down there or more, and I think that would have made it a little different for us in the first half.
Going into the second quarter, again, fairly early into the quarter, Carson-Newman scores 97 yards in 3 minutes and 46 seconds. They're up 28-0. Then the Mountain Lions come back. Rucker, 86-yard pass from Austin Brown, really firing everybody up. So the Mountain Lions are trailing 28-7 at 12:43. That kind of puts some life into the Mountain Lions.
Yeah, and again, if we score early, now, it's a 28-14 ball game, and you got a chance to work the clock a little bit, try to get another score before you go into the half. And I think that was one of the keys is that we just didn't get in there when we got down in the red zone. We normally been pretty good since the first game once we got down in the red zone and scored.
The Eagles answer at the 8:49 mark, 38-yard run, kicks good. They lead 35-7, and then Mars Hill wraps things up in the first half of play. Rucker from 2 yards out takes it in. So at the break, it's 35-14 Mars Hill, trailing the Eagles there on homecoming. So you go in at halftime, have to be pleased that you were able to at least get down into the red zone more than once, but not pleased that we weren't able to punch it in.
No, we should have had 21 points there, or maybe better. But at halftime, you're just trying to settle them down and say, all right, that's what we got to do defensively, this is what we got to do offensively. And we knew we were going to get the ball at the beginning of the second half. And, you feel like if you can put a couple of drives together and score some points, you're right back in it.
And we've had some good, very strong second halves of effort this year. So seemingly sitting in good situation, as we have been all season, rolling in the second half. We've been down before, been able to come back. We'll talk about that right after this.
I just did not have a lot of stability.
I was facing foreclosure.
Not working at all, didn't have any money.
I could not go to school and work, so I found Mars Hill.
The experience here has been so wonderful.
It's been amazing.
I was able to have the full-time hours without the full-time load.
They are just incredibly supportive.
And Mars Hill is very affordable.
Mars Hill University Adult and Graduate Studies, education that moves mountains.
I will be the first in my family to graduate with my bachelor's degree.
Stuart Jolley, head coach Tim Clifton. Halftime, Mars Hill 14, Eagles 35. Come back out, said Mountain Lions get the ball to begin. Second half of things, settle everybody down. Here we go. What happens next?
Well, you just try to get a drive together and work some clock in and put some points on the board. And we ended up not getting in the third quarter. I think they only got in one time in the third quarter. And now you're chasing the score in the fourth quarter. And you'd rather chase it in the third and then try to get yourself in position for the fourth quarter. But I thought we did some really good things in the fourth quarter. And I thought we were able to get a couple of quality drives on offense, and we got some stops on defense. So I thought the fourth quarter, we played better. But it's the last 2 weeks have been the first quarter. We've come out flat 2 weeks in a row, and we got to somehow come out and not be flat early in the game.
Talked about only one score in the third quarter. That was by Carson-Newman, 63 yards in 12 seconds, making it 42-14. But then, great fourth quarter by the Mountain Lions. Come there at 11:28 fourth quarter, 46-yard pass from Urzua to Rucker. The kick is good. It's a 42-21 game. And again, you're chasing. You're running. You only have so much time to climb this hill, so to speak. The Eagles answer at the 4:16 mark, going 60 yards. And here's the key: 60 yards in 7 minutes and 12 seconds. They really ate up the clock in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, and they can do that, and they just kept squeezing it. But we should have in the third. We faked a punt, and then we turned the ball over right after we faked the punt. We faked the punt, pick up the first down, and cross midfield, and then we turned the football over. And then also in the quarter, we dropped it. We had a great opportunity to maybe score again, and didn't finish a play down on the 3-yard line. So you go into the fourth quarter and you're really chasing. you know.
And by that account, at the very least, should have been about a 35-21 ball game.
Yeah, we should have been closer than we were, but they did a great job. They can score points and they can score quickly.
Mars Hill finishes out the fourth quarter. Rucker from 5 yards out. Final score: Eagles 49, Mars Hill 27. We'll come back. We'll talk with some more of the line coaches and a whole lot more right after this. Welcome back. Here we are, along with, well, for the longest time, when I would call your name, there were numbers on the front and back of a jersey. And now we're in this stylish attire, coaching side of things. Joe Hillin, welcome here. Talk to us about that. How things, well, have gone to become in this particular role for the Mountain Lions.
Yeah, so I played here. Transition's been awesome, actually. Graduated in 2016, May of 16. Got a call from Coach Clifton. It was July of the same year, that summer. Got the job, and it was a tough transition. It's tough to go from straight to play into coaching, but like I said, I was thrown into a fire with a group of men that took me under the wing as a player and then as a coach as well. So it's definitely been a smooth transition, I would say.
Well, and I just went back and pulled some stats and things. Center position,
Sir.
For 3 years. Not chump change here, ladies and gentlemen. This guy's got he's got some hardware hanging on a wall somewhere, or at least in a drawer or something. I don't know where you keep all this stuff. Because, I never had any. That's why they made me the announcer. Just easier that way. You earned the Jacobs Blocking Trophy, given to the top lineman in the Southland Conference. D2 football, All-American, second team. First team All-Southland Conference selection. Dan Hansen, Super Region 2. My goodness. Special stuff.
Just a little bit.
Does that, having had that success, how do you make that or kind of work toward that translating into working with the other side of the ball now to say, guys, I've been there, I've done this, done it quite well, and you've got to put that drive, that enthusiasm with your players now?
Yeah, it's a little bit harder on this side of things. It's easy for me to say I've done it, I know it, I can do it, but it's not about what I know at the end of the day. It's about what those 5 know that are on the field. So it's about what I can get through their head and help them, process and understand, and that correlates with how they play on Saturdays. And I guess that's the biggest change right there. I was in control of what I could do as a player, and now I'm responsible for 5 of the guys on the field. That's almost 50% of the offense out there. So it's a little bit different, but it helps at times. I can say, hey guys, I've been there. I've done it. It's a tough Tuesday. It's hot out here. It's, we're week 4 in the season. It's, times start getting tough right now. I can help them with a little bit of that. Or on the goal line, we have a timeout. I can go talk to them, like, guys, I know what you're feeling. It's been a long drive, blah, blah, blah. I've been there. They can, I can see them respond when I talk to them in times like that. And I actually played with a couple of them, so they've played with me and seen it. So
It makes a difference.
A little bit of the respect thing there on mutual both sides. So that's pretty good.
And better than anyone in a lot of these key situations that it is, yes, you can take care of the physical aspect during the all season and preseason and all that prep, but so much of what goes on in this super competitive D2 league of the South Atlantic Conference is just mental. It really is.
Yeah, I would agree. It's week in and week out. You have a whole new game plan. So it's not about just working out and getting physically, getting in shape and stuff like that over summer. It's about, can you take in stuff from Sunday to Saturday every week, coming in and taking whether it be new plays, new game plan, obviously new stuff that we're installing and asking from them. So mental is a lot of it, a lot of what you can handle, what you can process, and like I said, get going and understand in a short period of time to flip that around. What
was your biggest kind of memory takeaway from Mars Hill University, having played here? What is that one thing or a couple of things that, when you think about Mars Hill football from a playing standpoint, that 5, 10, 15 years from now, you'll think back to this?
the staff, the staff that I played for, they're great guys. Not just great coaches, but like you said, off the field, they're great guys. I could always go into Coach Clifton's office, Coach Surratt, Coach Fife, my offense line coach, Jim Beatty. I could always go into their office and talk about ball, talk about life, anything I needed. And that's one of them. And then Marshall's a special place. Honestly, it is. People don't understand. A lot of people talk about, I want to go here, I want to go there, but get a chance to play college football and you take advantage of it, and it's a special place, and it changed my life, and I just appreciate that, honestly. So.
And I would imagine kind of the parallel to that is you're going to try to keep replicating that in these young people.
Yeah, I try to instill in my guys, Mars Hill's a special place to me, and I coach here with passion, I coach here with everything because I appreciate this place and I love this place, so I tell that right off the bat, like, I am a Mars Hill man. This is what I believe in. I believe what all the coaches say. I'm in it. I'm bought into it, and try to get them to buy into what we have going on around here. So.
Well, it shows. You were passionate when you were down on that turf. It showed, and you were passionate now. See you back down there again, but in the coaching role, even from up here in the booth, it really is. It comes through because let's face it, you can tell from a player's perspective or a coach's perspective if people are, as you said, buying in and engaged to what's going on, and enjoyed the time when you were as a player, and hopefully get to enjoy some time for the next few years in the coaching perspective of things.
Yes, sir. Looking forward to it.
All right. We'll be right back right after this. Welcome back, Stuart Jolley and Coach Thomas Reese. Now, we just kind of got to set the stage here. You, at one time, had a different shade of blue. Is that correct?
That's correct. I always tell people right now I got the good guy shade of blue on now, but I did. I was fortunate enough to play college football for 4 years at Wingate University and enjoyed my time there. Played for a great head coach and Coach Reich, and was able to learn a lot. So I was very fortunate for that opportunity.
Wingate, as is so many of the schools in the league, class acts for head coaches, and Joe is one of those. So you're familiar with the kind of the year in, year out battle for what is the middle of the league and the top of the league, and how it doesn't take much to tip that at any time in the South Atlantic Conference.
No question. I felt like every year, it was, and when I played, it was just a battle. You never knew how the league was going to shake out. You obviously have your contenders. The Carson-Newmans of the world were always, near the top of the league when I was playing. But it was always a battle. It was always a good fight. And actually, when I was playing, the games we played against Morris Hill, were always really good games, real competitive games. And it was like that from top to bottom through the league.
So you graduated from Wingate, then what was next for you?
I actually graduated from Wingate, took the wide receivers coaching job at Guilford College in Greensboro, North Carolina.
Down for the Quakers.
Yes, sir. Was able to coach under a really good head coach, Chris Rusevich. He had just got there, taking over the program. We were first-year staff, and it was a good opportunity for me to go somewhere new, coach kids that I didn't necessarily play with, that didn't know, and it was one of those deals where smaller staff and you're thrown in the fire on a lot of things. You have a lot of responsibilities from day one. I'm 22 years old and now I've got my own room and recruiting kids that are just 4 years younger than me, and I was able to learn a lot and learn a lot fast. And I think that's helped me down the road.
Well, I went back and pulled some stuff from your bio, and I'm looking here. Wide receiver coach, special teams assistant, offensive video coordinator, and travel coordinator.
Well, you got to do
welcome to small college football.
Well, you got to do a little bit of everything, and I think that's the thing. I had a hand in a little bit of everything, and I was able to see, from a travel standpoint of things, from a video standpoint of things, from recruiting to you name it. So it was good for me, and I think that's only going to help me continue to grow, down the road as well.
And you coached 2 first-team wide receivers.
Right. Yeah, I did. I had a really good group of receivers there when I was there. I actually was able to recruit a group and coach the group that was already there, as well as recruit some too. So I was able to develop some of those kids and have a hand in developing some of those kids, obviously, and very good way to start off, I think, from a coaching standpoint.
So, as if the central Piedmont of North Carolina is not warm enough,
Right.
you head toward Valdosta, Georgia.
Yeah, I did. I developed a relationship with a coach on staff at Valdosta State. Adam Froman was the quarterback's coach at the time. And got down there, worked for Coach David Dean for 2 years. Very good experience, very good program, awesome town, awesome football town. Had a lot of success there for a couple of years, got a chance to coach some very good players, work under some very good coaches, some very good offensive coaches, and learn from them. We had a little staff turnover and just got married at the time, so was able to hop on right across town at Valdosta High School, which is 6A school in Georgia, traditionally very good high school.
And they take their football serious too, don't they?
And it was cool to see the college aspect of things as well as the high school aspect of things in the same town. And they're just as passionate on both ends, I can tell you that right now.
And they are not 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They're 6A, is that right?
6A, yes sir, 6A.
Which, as we say here in the mountains, that's really big.
Yeah, it's pretty big school. And I worked for a very good head coach there. Again, I've been blessed. I really have. I think I've worked under some very good head coaches and very good guys that I've been underneath that I've been able to learn from. So, you know, that was a very good experience. But I was happy to get back home. Obviously, this is where I grew up and where my wife grew up, and we just had a little girl a year and a half ago, and got a little boy coming in February. So it's good to get the family back and be back in the hometown. And I was grateful when Coach Clifton gave me the call this past summer. And I was able to get up here and get to work. So. Well,
we're glad you've wandered up to the Carolina Mountains.
Yep, glad to be here.
And hope you're here for a long time. Back in the South Atlantic Conference, in a different shade of blue.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
But you're still familiar with the personnel.
Right.
What's kind of at the top of your list of this is one of the things I'm most happy about being back in the league?
Being back in the South Atlantic Conference, I think just number one, being home, I think I've enjoyed that. You know, that's been big for me. Family's big for our family, obviously, but just the competition side of things. You know, I got to grow up watching the conference, watching the South Atlantic Conference. I played in it. I've coached against it. Now I'm getting to coach in it. So it's been a very good experience being able to see it from all those different angles. And just like I said, I love the competition. You know, weekly basis, just like Joe said earlier. You know, it's a new game plan every week. It's a new week, and you just never know. It's a wide open league. So
is and has always been.
That's right. That's right.
If anybody wants good football, and I know that there are bigger leagues, but my goodness, this league has always been competitive.
Got to bring it every week.
Well, we're glad you're home.
Glad
you're now part of the Mountain Lion family.
Glad to be back.
We'll be right back right after this. Back, Stuart Jolley and Tim Clifton, Coach. Tall order, my goodness. We had homecoming last week over at Carson-Newman. I looked at their pregame staff. Dadgone it, we've got homecoming down at Wingate this week.
Yeah,
we're popular people.
Yeah, and we played homecoming the week before,
yes.
So it's been, and we played at Limestone for homecoming. So we just need to go in there and play extremely well. I think this is the best. I think this is the best defensive team we've seen this year, probably since ETSU.
Wingate by the numbers. They're coming off their big 2017 season. They were 9-2 overall, 6-1 in the SAC. Second conference title in program history. Second appearance in Division II playoffs. They were as high as number 12 last year. They were coming into this season, picked to finish second in the league. Last week, played Catawba. So we've had a common opponent. They picked off Catawba 4 times Saturday night. There was a pick 6 by Cal Hanford, so we're going to have to worry about him getting in there. Shaw Crocker's their QB, throwing for 4 touchdowns against the Indians. Let's talk a little bit of what Kevin Barnett's going to have to draw up defensively against this Wingate squad.
Well, I think Wingate a few years ago, you know, they changed some things and started running the football extremely well, and they're gonna do a great job of scheming you to be able to run the outside zone and the power play, and they've always been pretty talented at QB over the years. They've been able to keep those guys in stock, and But they're gonna take the football and they're gonna do a great job of trying to control it, and we're gonna have to be, play extremely hard up front, to slow them down, because they can get the ball going downhill. And against Catawba, I thought they did a great job of scheming Catawba and running the power in the zone, and then they forced Catawba on offense to quit running the ball, and they made Catawba one-dimensional, and Catawba had to throw the football.
And I was looking there at their kind of cadre of quarterbacks. They not only have kind of your initial guy and your backup, but they get 3 other guys. So they've got like this huge cupboard of quarterbacks they can pull from.
They have always been good at quarterback over the years, and they do a great job with them. But they've had some really good receivers too over the years that have been complimentary to receivers. But and then they went through a phase there for about 3 years where they had 2 tailbacks that were very talented, and they're in the same mold again this year. They've got 1 upperclassman and 1 freshman that are very talented running the football.
Looking at their stats, they are 28 of 88 on 3rd down conversions with 32%. Prior to the Carson-Newman game, we had had made that improvement. Struggled a little bit against the Eagles, but for the Dogs, that really seems to be a point of contention for them this year that they are really having to focus on.
Yeah, I think every game it comes down to turnovers and the kicking game, and then the 3rd down conversions. Can you convert on defense? Can you convert on offense? And I think those are the things, and they're really good on the defensive front, and you win games in the trenches if you can convert on 3rd down and not turn the football over, and your OL and DL can control the game. You're going to win a lot of football games.
You're mentioning Wingate defensively. They lead the South Atlantic Conference and ranked 7th nationally with 22 sacks. Rawlings leads the nation with 10 sacks. Overall, as a team, they come in 8th nationally in terms of tackles for loss. So Austin Brown's going to have his hands full and trying to deal with that Saturday evening.
Yeah, I think that's going to be tough. I think if you look at it, teams have really struggled rushing the football against them. Every team they've played has really struggled trying to get the run game going and move the football on the ground.
We'll be right back with some closing thoughts right after this.
First Team Sports is the one-stop shop for all your sporting needs. We carry names like Adidas, Russell, Nike, and more. Products you won't find just anywhere, and authenticity that can't be topped. Whether it's uniforms or equipment, our in-house sewing and lettering department allows us to accommodate not only the local high schools, but also the surrounding colleges and universities. Call us at 800-821-7106 or find us on the web at firstteamsc.com. First Team Sports, your one-stop shop for all your sporting needs.
Welcome back. Stuart Jolley and Tim Clifton. Rankings coming in as far as the South Atlantic Conference in league action is concerned. Lenore Ryan 5-0, Carson-Newman 4-1, Tusculum's 3-1, Mars Hill 2-3, Wingate 1-2, Newberry 1-2, Catawba and Limestone still winless 0-3 and 0-4. This Saturday, besides the Mars Hill game at Wingate, Newberry travels to Limestone at 1 p.m., Virginia Lynchburg over at Carson-Newman at 1 p.m., Tusculum at Catawba at 1:30. The nightcaps, LR at Fort Valley State, and night game for us there in Monroe County, Union County and Monroe against the Bulldogs of Wingate University. And Coach, we know we're going in with young people they're hurt, they're sick, all of that. You've done this for a while. How do you work and get them to encourage them to keep that focus of, guys, we've still got to take care of this next one.
Well, you always try to play one game at a time, and hopefully we'll get maybe Eldrick back on the defensive line, and that Jaden King, he had surgery today, our safety, and in fact I'm gonna go by and see him here in a few minutes, but and RJ, I don't know where his status will be. So you look at who we're going to get back and then your game plan. But we've always had some great games over there with Wingate. I mean, there have been some phenomenal games over there, and game really, a couple of times we won late over there. And one year we got out, a few years ago, to a 3-touchdown lead, and then had to hold on last play. And
I remember that one.
Yeah, and then score at the end of the game to win over there. And then we've had some great battles here. A few years ago, homecoming here, we were down, I think it was 28-7 or whatever, and came back and won in the second half. So we've had some great games with them. I think this team is very talented, and you can. After looking at film, you can see why they were picked second in the league, and you can see they've got, I think 17 of their starters are red shirts. They've redshirted their freshman year, so when you can take a lot of guys and redshirt them their freshman year, it just gives them a chance to get stronger and then stay in this system by redshirting them. I think that's a luxury that everybody would like to have.
One of those that maybe at some point.
Yeah, you'd like to have it. I mean, everybody would like to be able to take them and redshirt them.
Absolutely. Mountain Lions on the road at Wingate. Kickoff 7 p.m. there at 6 p.m. at Irwin Belk Stadium there at Wingate University. It is a televised ESPN3 game as well, so if you can't make the drive to watch the Mountain Lions play, be able to watch them online throughout the contest. I know this veteran coach will have the guys all ready to go for another exciting South Atlantic Conference game. So for Tim Clifton, I'm Stuart Jolley. We'll see you back here next week. Until then, so long for now.
Hey, MHU on 3, 1, 2, 3.
MHU.